Yeah, no.
Hey everybody, good evening. How you doing, Clay?
Doing good. How about you, Jamie?
Doing good. Doing good. How
Well,
you doing, Vance?
Good, good. How you, Jamie?
we
Doing
got a
good.
special guest here tonight with us. This is my buddy Vance Bishop. Him and I helped we founded the Rax Adventure Team. So we'll be talking about that a little bit later. He used to live up in this area, and now he's in Georgia, and he's going to go back there before the snow comes.
Yes, yes, that's the plan.
So, as
Good
always,
move.
though, I want to start this out. A militia being necessary to the freedom of a free state, the right to keep and bear arms of the people shall not be infringed. And I messed that up a little bit today, but it's pretty good.
Paraphrase.
Paraphrased it.
uh,
Yeah.
hey
You
everybody, hi
know,
evening everybody in the chats here. Hey Trav, Waylon, Carrie,
hey,
hey
Carrie,
Shiloh.
sorry I missed that last night. I just way too many irons in the fire going on, but hopefully that went real good, that forum you had over there. So
Yeah,
I guess we should probably just dive into this. We kind of got a lot of information tonight, and I suppose we should address what happened in North Carolina.
yeah, yeah. Why don't we start out with that?
So, I don't know about you, but I was doing a little research online, and when that first happened, there was a lot of information out there. Of course,
Mm-hmm.
it was right away, and I guess I should have been doing screenshots of it, and it has a lot of it disappeared. Go figure. Even on places like Brave, DuckDuckGo, it's the same old crap that was coming out and being regurgitated by the fake news.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's one unique thing that we need to point out, right, Jamie, that we noticed in that whole thing.
Yeah, well, we noticed a few things that were pretty good. So, in case anybody isn't up to speed on it, this 15-year-old boy in Raleigh, North Carolina, took a. It's hard to believe. He took a pump
Oh,
shotgun because actually the news isn't even saying it, but the reason that we know what he was using is because one of the people in the neighborhood saw him and said it was a long barrel pump shotgun. So, and he ended up killing 5 people and injuring 2 more. Um, First thing that popped into my mind when I heard this is how this kid just rolled around in this residential neighborhood blasting people, and nobody had their own gun in their own house. I mean, it must be a whole different world in Raleigh than it is here, because he wouldn't lasted a minute in my neighborhood. I'm not just talking about me, but other people I know around here who probably aren't even as pro Second Amendment as me. They would have handled what they had to do, but
yeah.
yeah,
That
he,
was the
he
first thing
it
I
was a
thought.
pump shotgun. Go ahead, Vance. I
That was the first
apologize.
thing I thought, Jamie, was 2 hours it took to apprehend this kid, a 15-year-old kid. Where
Right.
was everybody? Where were the households? Where were the men?
Yeah.
It's funny you say, we just had a man parade here last week in Mandan, and funny you say that. Where were the men? Where were the men doing what we're supposed to do, being the protectors of family, being
Yep.
the breadwinners for the most part, and that's how things are designed: one man, one woman. Where were the men? Well, my guess is they were sheltering in place in their homes.
Drinking their
Yeah.
pumpkin spice latte and getting
Yeah.
Oh, uh-oh.
Right here, Travis just said it. Democrats love pumpkin spice. How
Oh,
about that,
man,
Jamie?
I agree with him on something, I guess. I'm just doggone leftist, I tell you what. I had
Jamie's
one
a
today. It
he's
was
a
pretty
pumpkin
good.
spice fan.
I'm gonna come out of the closet here, Jamie.
Oh,
I like it too.
All right.
you're kind of
Thanks, man.
you're kind of sitting a little close to come out of the closet today. Anyway, so
Oh, that's funny.
I found it
Thanks for,
very
thanks for
interesting
hanging
that
with me, Vance. I appreciate that.
there was nobody out there to do anything. Even out here, even in Bismarck, some of the cities that are in our two states here, I know people would have came out and done something. I know I
Mhm.
would have.
Yeah.
And then of course he uses a shotgun. It wasn't that evil black
Mhm.
AR-15. No,
Mhm.
no. It was the shotgun that Joe Biden himself said that's all you need.
That's
He
all they
uses one
need.
all the time. Just need a shotgun.
Hey, I love you too, Trav, and my pumpkin spice, buddy.
And your
But
pumpkin
yeah, so not
spice.
that's not. I mean, I'm not gonna go into it yet, but I'm just gonna go on something else here. Shotguns, like Clay said, Joe told everybody that's all you need, right? Well, there's been, as I'm sure if you listen to Clay and I for a while, I've brought this one up before, but the shooting in Albuquerque, Texas, at the high school there, the kid went in with his pump shotgun and a revolver, killed
Yeah.
10 people, wounded 20. There was Navy shipyard shootings in Maryland, I believe it was. The guy went in there with the 870 pump, and I think he killed 12, and I don't know how many he wounded. And there's, lots of other ones. Like off the top of my head, there was another one in Connecticut. A guy went into an office building with his bird gun that Joe said you should have. I don't know what he killed, 4 or 5 people. And if that was all we had, was pump shotguns, do you honestly think Democrats would be like, well, 5 dead? I mean, that's just part of owning shotguns.
No, that it'd be just like all the other states that go through, and Australia, Europe, they aren't satisfied. They want those too. That's just a stepping stone.
Well, Gene said Joe said you need a double barrel. Pumps must be evil. Yeah, they banned pumps. They banned pumps in England and in Australia. But I know if I looked it up, I could find it. But people have done it in England, driving around with their double barrel, whatever they Austin Martin shotgun. I don't know what they call them. But they killed numerous people just driving around blasting them, and
here's the deal. I've said, how many times have you heard me say this? Don't get me wrong, I like shooting ARs. I like all my guns. But if I'm going to go crazy and I want to do the most damage possible, I'm not taking an AR. I got to aim that for the most part. Shotguns, I'm taking a shotgun. I'm probably going to put an extended mag on it just for good measure. And I'm going to go, what's that?
You got to ban those. That's all right.
You got to ban those too. And then I'm going to hop in my big 1-ton Dodge, and I'm going to find the busiest crowded place, roar through there first, probably hanging out the window shooting. And I will inflict the most. So what are we going to do? Ban the shotgun, ban the pump shotgun. Better get rid of diesel pickups, because look what happened.
Ooh, they're trying.
And I got an evil black bumper on the front.
Yeah, assault bumper, actually.
Assault bumper. Oh, assault bumper.
So speaking of assault, speaking of the word assault, I'm gonna go with something here that our esteemed President Joe Biden said after this shooting with the shotgun here. Okay, he said yet another mass shooting in America, and called for the passing of an
assault weapons ban.
Assault weapons ban. Okay, I'm not done yet. There's one more little thing I'm going to read here, and then we'll just discuss this a little bit. The American people support this common sense action to get weapons of war off of our streets. What? Wait a minute.
Oh.
I read that today.
Okay, so Joe Biden believes your pump shotgun is a weapon of war. But actually, Clay, is Joe Biden right? Was a pump shotgun a weapon of war?
It was. That was used extensively in World War II, especially.
World War I, French gun, World War II, Vietnam.
It was a useful tool.
Went to the Benellis. Yeah. So Joe thinks your pump shotgun. When you're going pheasant hunting on Saturday morning or Sunday morning, guess what? You got a weapon of war that Joe thinks that's an assault weapon.
It's like we said, ARs weren't actually weapons of war until Ukraine came along.
Yep.
And I'm using your semi-auto shotgun, so that's man.
Oh.
There, Keith would know it, as he called them, trench sweepers. And
yeah,
absolutely.
Broom,
shotguns are a very, very effective tool.
I think they're Winchesters
in war. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, there's no trenches anymore. You don't need those in war. So here's a little thing from the local news station. I was reading it there, so I'm just not that much here. So the guy says, Woodrow Glass is this guy's name, said the shooting highlights the need for policies to keep guns out of the hands of juveniles. Why would a kid have a gun like that he could cause that many deaths? That many. It's a pump shotgun, buddy. Come on.
Yeah. Why would a kid have a gun?
My kids have access to some of my guns. They don't do that sort of thing.
Well, you've been to my house.
Yeah.
And Vance is sitting here now. There's a little access here, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not the gun. Obviously, if you come to my house, mine is probably the definition of what liberals hate.
Yeah.
But it's also the definition is if you brought your children up right, you've taught them how to use them. It's not something they're curious about.
Mm-hmm.
And my boys have both been shooting since they could put a gun in their hand, literally, and actually make it operate. That video that got took down on YouTube. Remember Leighton there? He was handling the Kel-Tec better than most
that was
adults.
Awesome. Great video.
So it just shows that it isn't the gun; it's what you're taught.
Yeah.
I was talking to Clay before the show. I read where I think it was the governor of North Carolina. He called it tragic gun violence.
Yeah,
Pointed out
Roy Cooper.
gun
Yeah,
violence. Now, if this kid had suffocated 5 people with a pillow, would it still been tragic
Oh no,
violence? I mean,
that'd have
can
been
we separate it?
that'd have been Lindell's fault because it'd have been a my pillow.
Yeah.
So,
it would have been Mike Lindell's fault exactly.
What were
It
these
was
people like?
assault pillow.
Assault pillow.
Yep. Oh, well, they loved it when they did it on Scalia, but
Right.
Yeah, I remember when
What-
I was in Rapid City when I heard that news.
So where were people like North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper when the guy in Vegas went and stabbed and killed 3-4 people and were they calling for senseless knife violence? No, it's a gun. These people are just political opportunist scumbags. Like they're unbelievable. And
Have
he
you
portrays
noticed-
himself as he's a FUD. He portrays himself as pro gun.
You know, we brought up that knife stabbing thing that took place in Vegas. You notice how that has disappeared? It's still
Oh.
going on. I mean, they arrested the person. I mean, things are happening, but it's now nothing in the news whatsoever.
Scrubbed like a serial number.
Yeah, scrubbed like this. We're going to talk about that later too. Here.
Yeah.
I read an article not too long ago. I should have sent it to you guys. It was about China.
Mm.
Now, China has one of the strictest gun laws in the world, the Chi-Coms.
Mhm.
And there was somebody who went in with a shotgun and shot up a school, an elementary school
Yeah. Well,
in China.
as we
Yeah.
all know, it doesn't work. Gun control
No,
doesn't
it's
work.
not.
Confiscation don't work. By the way, did you see Nancy Pelosi? Must have been a while ago or not long ago, I guess. There was an excerpt. She actually made a blunder just as bad as Joe Biden, said that China's one of the freest places in the world. I mean, she actually said that. I should have brought that clip up.
Jim Beam said that.
Oh.
Nancy didn't say it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mason the gun.
Yeah, there you go. Moses, yeah.
Mosen. There you got it right. I figured that's
Yeah.
what you meant.
They
I got
can't
one of them
possibly
sitting
hurt
right
none
over
with
there.
them old Woodstock. Oh, wait a minute. That was World War II. Yeah. Oh, wow.
Weapon of war. No, actually, it's even before World War II.
Yeah.
Mine's in
Yeah.
1931, I believe. I
I
forget.
thought they
It's
used them in
stamped on
World.
there.
Was it? I thought would the Russians use in World War One?
Well, they did. They were using Mosens. And then mine's got the bayonet with the 4 sides. You know, they had to change them after, I think it was had to be NATO approved or something after some little feel good meeting, and then they
You're
had to
an
change their
MVE.
bayonet. I'm an MV.
My favorite is
Militia
Alan
violence.
Duran.
Yeah.
You better tell everybody what that means again, Jamie.
MVE. Yeah. In case anybody missed that, the FBI was out and said the biggest threat to America is MVE, militia violent extremists, and that would be people who put out patriotic signs and decals and wear shirts that are have the
Support
American
MAGA.
flag or 1776 or yeah. Which we do
People
have
that-
something later on that too, which we'll see if this other guy was an MVE, one of Biden's boys. So
Hey, we're gonna give a shout out here. This is somebody I haven't seen on here before, Candy. I'm glad to see you. You're on the live chat and watching the show. We appreciate it. So thanks for
yeah,
watching.
thank you.
I
We try
can't-
not to look at Nancy either.
And yeah, it's deplorable.
Hey, remember speaking of Nancy, she, we're the MVEs. She was the one threatening to punch Trump out. She was going to knock him out.
That's right.
remember?
Did you see that? Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess there was a lot of clips I could have brought up today, but hey, you better give a shout out to Doug here.
Pelosi is yeah. All right, time for a sponsor break.
I
What
know
Rush
that,
call it?
you know,
Extreme profit
this
timeout?
this would be an obscene profit timeout. Here we go.
Auto Repair, 309 South Washington Street. That's right here in Bismarck. Doug and the boys, that's a pro Second Amendment shop. Anybody out watching this show is pro Second Amendment. You don't want to give your money to somebody who's not pro Second Amendment. They might be nice people. They might run a good shop. Doug and his boys run a great shop. They treat you right, fair pricing. They get your job done quick, and it's going to a pro Second Amendment shop. Deer season coming up. Get that hunting rig in there. Get that baby tuned up. Doug will get that thing humming like a kitten for you, and you can go through, and all you got to have to worry about is filling that tag and getting that big buck.
All right. Yeah, and again,
Right
big
on.
thanks to Doug. He's come on as our very first sponsor. We got a couple others that look like they're going to do it as well. And then we're going to have to extend the show because we're going to have to do advertisements.
Yeah. So I would also say, anybody, if you do swing into Lauer Auto Repair in Bismarck, let them know that you watch the live stream here, you listen to the podcast, and you appreciate Doug supporting a show like this, because hey, we got to scratch each other's back here, people. We're the only ones who's had each other's back here. So and Doug's got our back and we got his back, and I'd appreciate it if you had his back when something goes wrong with your vehicle.
Yep, absolutely. So, so we were talking about Pelosi.
Yeah.
Somebody's been drinking.
Someone's been
Yeah.
drinking, yeah. Well, oh yeah, that's Pelosi, as he put her, is hot.
Oh yeah, Vance. It's Trav. You get
It's
used
Travis.
to that.
You get used to that. Yeah. Oh, Candy had something to say about that too. See, we could have fun just with our chats, couldn't we?
Oh yeah. I heard
Oh,
she was hot at one time, but her attitude makes her about as ugly as sin. So
yeah, I can't imagine her being hot, but I guess she was young once. But she
100
probably
years ago.
100 years ago.
100
Yeah.
years ago. Well,
Wonder-
Clay, why don't you lead us in with this? There's something coming up. Representative Blake Moore from Utah introduced the what's it called, the Range Access Act, right?
Yeah. So I'll just bring it up here. Basically, the National Shooting Sports Foundation, they had this on their website, and they were kind of pushing for this. This is going to be the Range Access Act that was introduced in the U.S. House of Representatives, and U.S. Representative Blake Moore, he's a Republican out of Utah. He's the one that introduced this, and I can't think of a better time to do it, especially with things that are going on. But as he commented, he said, he's basically what this is going to do. The legislation that would require U.S. Forest Service and Bureau of Land Management, guys. The reason this is important, these are also two entities that are trying to do 30 by 30 and take your private land away. So to force them to do this would be it'd just be great.
Yeah. What
And
does he
have
want?
at least one qualifying recreational shooting range in each national forest and BLM district.
That's awesome.
That's pretty significant.
Yeah.
That's a huge
That's
move.
huge.
From what we've been seeing, especially right now with who's in charge.
Mhm.
Basically, they're saying it's crucial to ensure safe public recreational shooting. I really don't care the reason they're saying it. I love the fact that they're doing it.
Yeah.
And they're going to be utilizing those ever important Pittman Robinson funds. And if you don't know what the Pittman Robinson Act is, we talked about that on here before. And it basically, well, they just had it right here. What, 18.5 million firearm sales just in 2021 already. And when you talk about that, there's a percentage of tax that's generated from each and every purchase of firearms, ammunition, anything related basically to the outdoors. And that, what do we got on here? $15.3 billion has went into conservation, construction, and improvement of public and recreational shooting ranges. Now, I don't know if you guys are aware, especially in the Bismarck-Mandan area, they did a lot of work on two ranges south of Bismarck and one south of Mandan. And the reason that happened is I guess I'm going to take the credit for it because I'm the only one that said anything. When I worked for the NRA, I put a lot of pressure on them guys to start utilizing them Pittman Robinson monies because they're not just for pet projects and conservation. They're also to be out there expanding shooting opportunities and building ranges. That's exactly what they were for.
Well, according to that article, the Pittman Robertson, 85% of that is supposed to go towards shooting sports.
That's right. And they weren't doing it. North Dakota especially wasn't doing it. And when I started inquiring, and of course, it was like anything else with the game and fish mismanagement in North Dakota, there was a big stonewall. And I just, you know me, Vance knows me, and I didn't let up. And finally, they didn't do it in conjunction with NRA. That's what I was kind of putting on the table because we had over $100,000 available just for grant projects just in North Dakota through a different program other than Friends. And they told me, and I quote, "We don't need the NRA for anything." That was a direct quote from Jeb Williams of the Game and Fish. He denies that he ever said that, but he's a liar anyway, so I don't care.
That's too bad. I know I'm friends with Jeb, so it's wow.
I mean, that's the Game and Fish is inundated, unfortunately, with leftists or maybe middle of the road people at the very best, and they surely hate the NRA. A lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them.
What's funny about that is how many people think the NRA is weak and soft and doesn't do, but it's still number one target for anti-gunners and FUDs,
And I can tell you this: when I was there, and then for North and South Dakota as the rep, and I became the senior rep, I bet you we never had a stronger voice. I didn't used to, I didn't do it for that. I wasn't doing it for, why I did it? Same reason we're doing this. Someone had to speak up. Somebody had to get out there and be on that front line. And I couldn't
Right.
think of a better way to do it. And I was doing it for us so that we could have guns, so we could go hunting, shooting, and exercise our Second Amendment rights. I mean, I just never let up, and it was unfortunate to see what happened after I retired. Now there just ain't much of a program in either state anymore.
So speaking of game and fish, we
Mhm.
got a little something we're going to talk about them tonight here, aren't we? Should we kind of lead in with that here with that, or we still want to talk about?
Yeah.
You want to finish anything up on this range access thing, or are we gonna?
No, I just guys, look up the act. Remember, it's been introduced in the House. We'll see where it goes. I imagine that the timing of this is kind of critical, being we have an election coming up. The nice thing about it is that we'll know who our enemies are if they vote against it. And
Oh yeah, that's going to be nice if even you get control of the House and Senate. Even one, you can pass bills, and then you can see, like you said, who's really on your side. I mean, we know, you and I know, Vance knows,
Yep.
probably most people listening, but
no, it's absolutely it's crucial to take these votes. I think that they should really introduce more gun legislation, as far as I'm concerned. But again, to smoke these people out. We kind of drop the
I'd
ball
love
every
it.
time. They're like, oh, there's Democrats are in control. We can't pass it. Good. Introduce it. Put them on record voting
Oh
against
yeah,
it.
yeah, I love it because when the election comes up, guess what? You got there. They said
And
they're pro-gun. I guess they're not. It says right here that's not
I've
true.
always been a big arm twister. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
If I have the advantage and it's the right thing to do, yes, I'm going to twist them arms and I'm going to make it happen.
So
And we don't just not people like that no more.
We got a story here. North Dakota Game and Fish has some suggestions for hunting ethics here. So why don't you Clay's got a
I think
video
what I'll do
clip,
is I
and
got
then we can
a
go
little
into
clip here I'll play, and this just kind of addresses landowners. I think it's kind of soft. It was out of a whole 10-minute video, but here's one clip, and then we can kind of go over some of this.
In addition to hunter safety tips, do you have any advice for hunters hitting the field this fall?
Make sure you do your homework. We are very fortunate to live in a state where a lot of our agricultural producers still grant access to hunters to get out there and enjoy the resource. And so I just highly recommend, not the night before opening day of pheasant season or deer season, but get out there and try and make some contacts. Even if you're going home to where you grew up, reach out to those landowners and have a conversation with them and explain what you're wanting to do. And we're very fortunate in North Dakota to have a lot of opportunity to hunt private lands and get out there and enjoy our hunting heritage across the state. It varies greatly from the eastern half of the state to the western half. Just can't emphasize enough to get out there and knock on doors and introduce yourself. We're very lucky to still be able to do that and get a hold of people.
So that was just one little segment out of that. I'm glad they addressed it, because over 98% of the land in North Dakota is privately owned.
Yep.
And without us as landowners, there ain't a lot of places to hunt for a lot of people. You got to have the private landowners. And let's just say the legislature has not, especially some legislators, and of course the Game and Fish have not been landowner friendly. So why they produce this, I don't know. I'm glad to see it. Maybe it'll start helping mend them fences. We'll see. But there's a whole, I don't know if do you have the whole article in front of you?
Yeah, I do. I do have it.
So let's go over them points, and then I
Okay.
have another picture I'll put up when we get to
So
the
they got
point
another one
about it.
on top of what Clay was doing here. They don't expound on it too much, but they got a little list on here. Posted land. Confirm the land isn't posted physically or electronically prior to hunting, which common sense will tell you that, right? I mean, a lot of people.
That kind of goes with this right here. If you go to their website, they've got that electronically posted one now. And then they've even got a link to Onyx, which is interesting because when we were testifying on the 2019 bill, they basically told us that was no good, that they'd have to develop their own. Now they have a link right there to it. So I find that kind of ironic.
Yeah.
But look at the bottom here. Penalty for hunting on posted land. Hunters may not enter legally posted land electronically or physically without first obtaining permission of the person entitled to grant permission. That sounds like a government deal. Anyway, a person who violates North Dakota Century Code 20.1 01-18 is guilty of a Class B misdemeanor, up to $1,500 or 30 days imprisonment. And I'm going to give you a little hint on that, everybody. Don't call game warden for that. They will never write that ticket. Call your sheriff. Them sheriffs, they get down to it because I've done that. And I like seeing that, especially when you get somebody who blatantly did it.
Mm-hmm.
That's on the first offense, and a Class A misdemeanor, up to 3,360 days imprisonment for basically another offense. So, excuse me.
COVID.
Forgot my mask.
Oh no,
Yeah.
we don't have our masks here, do we?
Yeah. All
I
right.
need a
So
cough button, don't I? But
let's
there
go to-
you can see what the deal is with that.
we'll go to the next one here. It's obstructions. Keep all gates, approaches, and roadways clear of obstructions, which pretty much means your vehicle. Keep it clear from that. Obviously, the gates, I mean, the landowner needs to get in there, whether he's running cattle or he's farming or hauling hay or anything of that nature. I mean, I say common sense should tell you not to do that, but there's a lot of common sense lacking, even in the hunting community for that matter.
I'd like to speak on that briefly.
Yeah, go for it.
As a non-landowner and that don't live here. To me, it's a matter of moral ethics. Clay's one of my best friends. We've known each other for many years. I would not just walk on his land and hunt. That's not my land. That's his land. I know that Clay would tell me, yes, we're good friends. He's always told me, you're welcome to hunt my land.
Yep.
But out of respect for his livelihood, it's his business. This farm is family's tradition. It's his heritage. It's a legacy to leave on to his children. This is more than a piece of dirt. It's something to be respected as another person's piece of property that they've worked and put their blood, sweat, and tears into. I just, in my mind, can't understand how somebody could think they have the right to walk on to something and just take advantage of somebody else's livelihood.
Yeah.
I don't get that.
Yeah, that's good
It's
advice.
funny.
Right there.
We see it a lot. And in North Dakota, if there's no sign up there, then they can do it. The state of North Dakota granted public access to your land, and that's what it comes down to.
And that's a fine example of legal don't mean right.
That's right.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
for sure.
by the way, on gate closing, and that was one of the things I think you just read about from that deal. Did you know that it actually is against the law in North Dakota to not close the gate? So it's actually written in the Century Code.
Oh,
and
I
you can
didn't
actually
know that.
call and if someone didn't close the gate, it's actually against the law not to do it. And a lot of people don't know that. There's a lot of little laws out there that do work for us, but don't call it game and fish, because I can guarantee you, most of them conservation officers, they'll try to come and visit with you and talk about it. I'm done talking. I've been done for a long time.
Yeah.
And I will file the complaint, but I'll bring in the sheriff, and they get the job done.
Yeah.
Well, if speaking of gates too, if you post contiguous quarter or whatever piece of land, whatever you got at the gate entrance, that whole piece is posted then. Like
Yes.
some people be like, you got to have a posted sign every 300 yards or 500 yards. No, you don't. You came in through the gate, you saw a posted sign. That means a whole damn pasture there, buddy.
That's right.
Yeah.
If it's an enclosed fence, especially fenced in, you only need to put the one at the entrance. That's
Right at
all
the
you
gate.
have to do.
Yep. Because
And
there's a lot
guys-
of people who think you got to have them every 500 yards or whatever
Yeah, whatever. I don't even know what it is. 'Cause
I don't even. I think it's something like that.
I think I've evidently gotten the word out around here not to come on my land anymore. In different ways.
Okay, well, let's go on to the next one here. Carcass disposal. Don't leave your carcass remains in ditches.
That should be self-explanatory too, shouldn't it?
Yeah, right. I mean,
And I know they talked in that video a little bit about actually, you should take your carcass from the land. You know what? I don't have any issue with that. If you shoot something on the place and you do your thing and you field dress it out there and take the meat and quarter it out, whatever you need to do, especially if you're in my unit now with that CWD, you can't take the spinal cord. So a lot of guys do that. I'm okay with that. Just leave it kind of where it was at. The coyotes will definitely, other things will eat that. I'm not worried about that. But
hey, wait a minute. CWD. I mean, they've banned baiting in that unit for like 15 years, and it's still there.
It shouldn't be
CWD 's
there,
still
right?
It's actually
That's what
getting
they
worse.
claim.
It's getting worse now. Yeah, right. Speaking of common sense, and they'll try to explain that 10 different ways from Sunday. How that doesn't mean anything necessarily.
I actually had a deer here last year. It was kind of foaming at the mouth and not right, and it was dying. And I actually called Waylon, our buddy Waylon there. He's with Standing Rock Game and Fish. and they sent someone over and collected the head. They tested it. Guess what? It wasn't CWD. It just they're not quite sure what it had.
There's Joe.
There's Joe. Hey, what are you guys doing? Can't be on that. Yeah, oh, that would be awesome if it was him. I'd put him on.
No joke. It's no joke. All right, next one they got up here is conditions. Be mindful of conditions in the field, which pretty much talking about dry conditions. If you're gonna, like Clay and I think we mentioned this before, right? Clay, if you feel free to bring a fire extinguisher with you if you're getting out there, it's as dry as it is, and and anything you think's gonna start a fire or chance of it, don't even.
If you have any of the newer vehicles, and I mean even going back to the 80s, I don't remember when they finally started putting Cadillac converters on, but you get into the 90s and 2000s and through there, they got worse because then they started putting shields and all, and that stuff gets in there and then it starts burning and it drops off. And yeah, you can start little fires.
Hell, I already cut mine off and sold it for $100. What are you talking about? Straight piped it.
I won't say about what mine are, but I did not have a mechanic do it. Do not go to our sponsor. Do not go down to Doug's place.
Yeah, don't ask Doug
to remove it.
All right, so the next one here is litter. Don't litter. I mean, that's if you litter, you're a loser. That's all I can say.
It falls under common sense. You're driving a pickup,
Yeah.
throw your trash in it.
Right, there you go. Doug, there you go. Use some 701 common sense. I like that. Hey,
absolutely.
We could have that on some of our gear once we get it going here with shirts and things.
Yeah.
We got a lot of ideas, don't we?
All right, so this one coming up here, I used to get in a argument with my buddy about it all the time. I don't know if he does it anymore, if he just doesn't talk about it to me, but most people probably disagree with me, but it says ethics, do the right thing even if nobody is watching. So the argument I used to get into with my buddy is if this big buck was going away, whether to shoot him straight up the ass or not. And I always said, there's no way I'd do that. And he said, there's not a doubt in his mind he'd do it.
Yeah.
I don't know why. If somebody does it, I'll be like, well, it's your tag, but it's just something I for whatever reason, I don't know if my grandparents put that in my head, but
I mean, I'm sure it'll do the job depending on what you're shooting.
Yeah.
I can tell you right
do
now,
the job.
If they're going straight away like that, you'd have to take a look at that shot and go, is it worth it? Can I make a kill? Maybe the kill shot is to do that. But you could put it right through the neck too. I mean, take that spine out like we're just talking about.
Mm-hmm.
That'll drop them right there as well.
Oh God, he's gonna jump the fence into the neighbors. Spine him.
Yeah. Oh man, maybe that's the problem. I don't usually have that issue. I can tell you right now, like the one that's that one I got on my wall, and there's a couple others I got down at Eric's, the official Racks Adventure Team taxidermist, Grizz Taxidermy. There, free plug, Eric. But
there you go.
In the morning.
I can tell you that all but one of them I pretty much shot while they were still laying down there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And because I went out and actually hunted them. Now, the one that I got here just 2 years ago, he wasn't really running, but he was a little skittish, but I spooked the does. So then he took off after the does. Otherwise, he'd have just stood there. I just waited for the shot and boom, the old 270, I opened her up and that's my favorite gun. And boom, it was a one-shot deal. And that's the way I like it. I don't like going down the field. And I know there's a lot of people in the old days. They take the old stubble field with the pickup.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I've been passengers in that many times. Not a fan.
Eric is listening. See, if you're good enough shots, you can thread that ball right up the sphincter. It leads to the heart. That's what we were just talking about.
I've always heard it called the Texas heart shot.
Yeah, I actually Scott had a guy on once from Texas, and I asked him about that, some hunting guy, and he said that it originated from shooting turkeys, because if you shoot a turkey up the rear end, apparently that goes right to their heart. So I don't know. Yeah. I've never killed a turkey, so.
Oh yeah, we've killed a few.
Yeah.
South Dakota now don't allow you to use rifle anymore, but that's a whole nother subject. But
last two I killed was with rifle.
So. We got any more on that note? Game and Fish? Did we get?
Well, the last one was is thank the landowner, which a lot of people, that's true. If you go in, you get permission and talk to them. If you're leaving, I would even say, not that they don't have their own sausage, but if you make sausage, feel free to go back there and give them a couple packages or bulk, whatever. Unless your sausage sucks, then don't insult them, because they're probably going to let you back on the land.
And talking to the landowner. I do think they gave some good advice in that video. Like the guy said, do your homework, get out there early, don't do it the night before. And they're right. Contact these people ahead of time.
Mhm.
Nobody wants to be called the night before deer season opener going at 9 o'clock at night saying, hey, it's okay if I
Yeah.
go hunt your land.
Yeah.
No,
Not
it's
cool.
not. Come back in a week and let me, and I'll let you know. But
Mhm.
get out
Mhm.
there, do a little homework. But I think that, and I've had this many times, some Minnesota hunters that came out here and used to do some pheasant hunting. They'd always bring me back a whole bunch of walleye. Well, yeah, I can
Sweet.
catch walleye, but I'm not near as good at it as, say, Eric or some of the other guys I go with.
Hey,
But
it's nice when you get a pack of it with no bones in it. That's
well, to me, that was just a nice gesture, and I mean, they had it nice and packaged and freeze wrapped, and then yeah, it was just you know what? It wasn't so much that they brought walleye; it was the gesture of what they did,
yep.
and that's how you build them relationships. I don't
Mhm.
really ask for nothing, but when someone does it without saying anything, you know what? That's even better yet. That means they actually gave a crap and appreciate the opportunity. So
Yep.
just a reminder to all you guys that don't own land, don't be afraid to ask these landowners, hey, can I help you work cattle? Can I come out? You need a hand, hauling hay, fixing fence, whatever that might be. There's plenty of work to do on a place. And I
Yep.
guarantee you, even if they don't take your help, they appreciate the fact that you offered it, and you're gonna build a lot of bridges doing that. You're gonna build a
Oh,
lot of them.
I mean, even our neighbor out there, he passed away now. His son owns the land, but he let me shoot a buck on his property once, and he said, "Hey, just bring me some sausage," which I did. So then every year after that, even if I never shot a deer on his land, I'd still take them because he appreciated. They were older and they really liked the can when I'd make the canned sausage,
Oh
because they
yeah,
had dentures and they said they could chew it easy. So.
they get coming.
But yeah, I did a couple packs of sausages, no skin off my rear end, and they enjoyed it because they didn't make it anymore or get it or go hunting. So, go back
Well,
even if you don't get something on their land, and tell them you appreciate it
absolutely.
when because there's the next year's coming. You never know.
Yeah, you know what? You make a good point there,
Brown
Gene.
Bowie.
Ribeye steak. When we go down to Florida, we try to go down there about every 3 years and do a little hog hunting. Eric has joined us. That's with our Racks Club, and I actually took a bunch of beef down to him when we went because I
Yeah.
knew that Chris likes beef.
Actually, when we did the big one a couple years ago, we had 20 guys out there.
Um,
We had bear and elk, and I think we had moose from
yeah,
somewhere. We had a
Dang.
game feast down there.
we
Awesome.
did, and that's what it's about. Take care of them landowners,
Mhm.
and I can tell you, getting to hunt private land in Florida, especially that many acres, that's a huge thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And basically, all he asked is that we respect the place, and we took care of him.
Yeah, he didn't
And he's
ask
become
nothing
a
from
really
us.
good friend, and he's clean. He actually would have probably been here this weekend with Vance, but he's out there cleaning up after the hurricane, so he had to stick around. But we understand
Yeah.
that. But everybody was safe. Things are replaceable, so that was okay.
Awesome. So I don't know if this trend's kind of going around. I was going to kind of get you guys' opinion on it. They're kind of tactical, making these lever guns like tactical. They're putting the rails on them and threading them and suppressing them and making them look, badass or whatever you want to call it. Most people I know kind of dig that. I was just reading an article at Marlin 336. It's called the Dark Series lever.
Okay.
I don't know. I think that kind of thing's pretty cool, actually, putting a different twist on an old rifle like that. But I
I was
was
just looking at my collection here, if you were wondering.
yeah. I mean,
I have a lever action up
I
there,
got a
but
regular lever 3030. We did that video for it, the
nope.
Axe and I, but yeah, I don't know. One of
I've
these
got one already with a rail on it that's ready for a scope. And it's not a collector's gun, so I'm okay with that. I like it too because it's
yeah.
just another way to make my tool more useful.
Yeah, I think so. You get a light on there, and I don't know. I always wanted to hear what they sounded like suppressed too, because
I think that'd be
suppressors are.
cool.
Yeah, I think they look pretty cool, but
I got to dress Gene though. Gene, there's a lot of cows in Florida.
They're just not as big as the
They're
cows
just
up here.
no, they're small ones. I'm sure Gene was just making fun of that, but there's actually Florida's actually a huge cattle producing state, and that actually surprised me. Hawaii is another one.
Yeah.
So we have the best right here. So
Especially where Chris is near Okeechobee.
Yep.
Okeechobee used to be a
lot of
huge
cattle out there.
producer.
But so I tell you what, I guess let's move into this next segment here.
yep.
And that has to do with adventure team. I said my friend Vance Bishop is here. Actually, another one of our members, Eric Newman's been listening, and I don't know how many others are on. I know Will sometimes listens, but I guess I'm going to let Vance kind of tell you how this all come about, because it started out with a trip that we took in 2016, 15, and 4 of us decided to go have some fun in Florida, and Rax was born.
Yeah, in 2015, I was living up here at the time, and Clay and I had become pretty good friends, and we're hunting together and fishing together, and really enjoying the outdoors. And him and Corey and Waylon, they all wanted to go hunt hogs. Well, I grew up in South Florida, so I was like, nah, I don't care if I ever shoot a stinking hog again. I shot so many of them. But for somebody from the Dakotas, that's pretty neat. When I came up here and wanted to shoot prairie dogs, they're like, "Why you want to shoot prairie dogs?"
Coyotes,
coyotes, because I've never shot them. So I got together with my buddy Chris, and he said, "Bring them on down." And we did what we called our mancation.
Yeah.
4 of us got in Corey's pickup and drove all the way down nonstop,
36 hours,
yeah.
which was at 20, almost 2,200 miles.
Yeah, drove
We didn't stop much.
And we spent a week down there and had just shooting hogs and cooking and going out on the ocean fishing and just having a blast, riding the swamp buggies around in the 4-wheelers and shooting guns and just having a ball. Small game, critter control. They got to taste alligator and frog legs and all kinds of game meat from the swamp and swamp cabbage.
Yeah, swamp cabbage. Yeah.
Well, during that trip, shortly after that trip, I got with Clay and said, it might be fun to make an annual trip and put together this little team of ours, because we all each individually have resources to help each other get on hunts. I live in Georgia now. If I want to come up and shoot pheasants or go after antelope or something, I call Clay and say, "Hey, I'm going to try to get a tag," and he says, "Come on up. We'll get you on a hunt." If he wants to go down to Georgia, which I don't think he's allowed to drive there no more.
Yeah, I just can't drive.
He can come on down and hunt with me. If he wants to hunt hogs, we can go down and hunt with Chris. We can go out to Texas and hunt with JP. We can go to Vermont and hunt with Will and Kevin out there. And who else we got? Indiana, Tennessee, Alabama. We have team members in all these states, and we help each other go on these hunts, and then we have group hunts and get together. And we formed it as the Rax Adventure Team in 2015. And basically, it's just a fun group of guys that we do our little short videos and goof off together and have a good time. And we share some things on our page of what's going on in the industry and things like that. And
you've got there's a Facebook page if you guys want to check out Fascist Book. You can go over to Rax Adventure Team, and it's maintained pretty good.
Yeah, we had some opportunities with some sponsors and show things like that. We've done some TV shows down in Florida with Just Hunt TV out of Canada, and we've had some opportunities. But it started getting to a point where the sponsorships, you can only wear this and you can only do that and you can only say this and you got to take down these pictures. The business end of it started taking away from our passion.
Can you imagine someone telling me I could only say certain things?
Yeah, the wrong group of guys saying you can only do this and only do that. Yeah, that's definitely the wrong group of guys. So the Rax Adventure Team has just been a whole lot of fun, is what it's been.
Yeah,
we've made some great contacts.
And we're planning. Like I said, I think they're going to do something this coming January, but the group from up here is pretty much going to go down in 24. That's what I was telling you about, Jamie. I think Guns and 701 needs to make a visit with that and combine and go down and have some fun. But I enjoy the drive down there because then we can take what we want. We can take the guns we want. We can take a lot of things. And well, Grizz, my buddy Eric there, we took his trailer last time. I imagine that's what we'll do again this time. And we delivered some mounts along the way down in Alabama. So anyway, we got some great friends in Alabama, and they're part of this thing. And we dropped off, I believe it was a buffalo, and I don't remember. Eric, you have to refresh me. It seems like there was a buffalo and possibly a deer. And then we brought your elk to you.
Yeah. So
that was a lot of fun. Then we stayed at his place in Alabama. So that was a nice stopping point. And then we would have left early. Me and Eric were up, but Corey and Waylon weren't moving very good that next morning. So we didn't get out of here.
We were waiting on them. We were waiting on them. They were late.
But
so finally, Buck tells me Buck's already down there at the camp.
yeah,
And he says, well, I left beer and whiskey out. I said, what? He said, I left beer and whiskey on the table for those guys. I said, well, it's your fault they're late.
oh, and it wasn't just whiskey. They broke out the moonshine, and
Ooh.
then I mean that table. That I don't think you could see more stuff empties in a bar. And it was not me and Eric. That was strictly Waylon and Corey. And
Boys are
well, let's just
crushing
say
it, huh?
Corey should have probably had a diaper on that night. But whatever, we won't embarrass him too much. Doug, you're absolutely right. You know what? If we have to take two pickup loads down this time, usually about 4 people each is what you can comfortably stand that long of a trip. We could do it. Take 2 pickups, take 8 of us down there, have Jamie and our sponsor Doug there join us. I think that'd be a heck of a good time.
Oh, yeah.
Just for the guns on the first trip.
Yeah, the first trip we went a little bit overboard on firepower. We literally were on the overloads of the pickup. So,
Jeez.
When you guys got to my house, there was almost 40 guns in the truck.
and we left some at your
my
place
house,
because
so
we
I
had to
could
put his
some of
stuff
my
in.
guns in.
Perfect.
And we
Love
went
it.
across Illinois completely illegal, so that was just icing on the cake. You know, piss on them guys.
Oh, Obama don't like that. No.
We wouldn't have probably liked it if we'd actually got stopped.
Yeah.
We were carrying too. Well, you know how
Drop
they think
the
about
hammer.
that in Illinois. So, hey, I see Gene brought a comment here. Yes, I've tried grits for the first time when I was down there.
Yeah.
And boiled peanuts, as he put it.
Boiled peanuts.
I don't get that. That's definitely a thing down there, and you can get them anywhere.
And sweet tea.
And that sweet tea, I don't
Sweet
drink
tea,
that
boiled
either.
peanuts.
But I did learn to love barbecue.
Yeah.
You know, I grew up here, and I didn't care for barbecue because I never really
Really?
had real. Well, you know what? Putting ribs in a crock pot with some sauce ain't barbecue.
No.
And that's all I had ever had. And I was like, yeah, not a real big fan. Well, I love it now. Now I like. Well, I got my own smoker, and not like yours. You got a bigger smoker than me.
Yeah, I got a big one out sitting next to the house here.
And
Next to the
Jamie's
garage,
always got
actually.
a bigger one.
Yeah. Only that were true, Clayton.
Yeah, we took Eric Newman with us that last trip, and you're right. That's why I put the comment up here. We get down there. We weren't even to Florida yet. We were just rolling through Georgia, and he goes, "Oh, it's awful peoply down here." I'm like, "You ain't seen anything yet." So no, it was a fun trip. Rax Adventure Team. We've had some fun trips, some fun hunts.
We've done our veteran hunts. We've taken quite a few veterans on hunts. All of us are patriotic, and we have some veterans on our team.
Yep.
And we've had the opportunity to take some to Texas and here in Florida and different spots to get on hunts.
Yeah.
And we'll continue to do that every chance we get.
So no, we're looking forward to having another good one down. Like I said, we're planning 2024, and I think that'll be a lot of fun. And it's my boys are getting to the age too where I'd like to have them go along, but I don't know if take a separate trip or come with us. Our trip is kind of a guy's adult trip, so we'll probably leave it at that. But and no wives.
My
no
son
wives.
was on the
No.
last one, but
They probably don't want to go anyway.
No, you'd be shocked.
My son was on the last one, but he's 32 and a 10-year veteran in the Army, so he can handle whatever we had.
You can check it out. There is a Rax Adventure Team YouTube channel. There's also a Rax Adventure Team Midwest, and we did that so we could, mainly because you forgot the email, and I had to get some stuff posted up there, and we didn't have the password to get in. So, but Eric's got a really nice turkey video up there, but we haven't done a lot lately, but Eric's been getting some good footage. He's actually coming here tomorrow and going out with Vance. Maybe we'll get a little more and try to put together some more videos and start getting that a little more active as well. I don't know. I don't have time to do it all.
Yeah,
But-
you got a lot on your plate going for sure.
But no. So anyway, that's Rax Adventure Team.
Yeah,
awesome.
So I'm glad Vance could join us.
Yeah, check out our
You bet.
pages. It's just a bunch of goofy guys having fun is really all it is. We had aspirations of doing some different things, but like I said, when the sponsorships and the business end started taking over, it took the joy out of it, and we just wanted to have fun. So that's what we decided to do, was make our goofy little videos and have some fun.
Yeah.
Well, heck, I'm ready to kiss our sponsor's rear end again here, Clay. So
All right. Well, nice. You like that, huh, Doug? Did you hear that? All right, guys. Yeah, we want to thank one of our sponsors here, and we appreciate his support here. And I'll let them advertise it.
right on.
Nope, I got the wrong one. See ya.
Auto Repair, 309 South Washington Street. That's right here in Bismarck. Doug and the boys, that's a pro Second Amendment shop. Anybody out watching this show is pro Second Amendment. You don't want to give your money to somebody who's not pro Second Amendment. They might be nice people. They might run a good shop. Doug and his boys run a great shop. They treat you right, fair pricing. They get your job done quick, and you know it's going to a pro Second Amendment shop. Deer season coming up. Get that hunting rig in there. Get that baby tuned up. Doug will get that thing humming like a kitten for you, and you can go through, and all you got to have to worry about is filling that tag and getting that big buck.
There we go. You guys, again, the number is 701-258-6308. 701-258-6308. And you'll get a hold of Doug or somebody at the shop. Make an appointment. Support a Second Amendment shop right there in Bismarck.
Right on. You can't get a better spot than that to get your vehicle fixed with better guys who support what you believe in if you're loving their show and like what we're talking about. So
Yep, absolutely.
So let's we were talking about MVEs earlier.
Yeah, we were.
Militia violent extremists, which Biden and the FBI said is people like us. We wear 1776 shirts, American flag shirts, and we got a story here out of Minnesota. Man severely beat woman for wearing an American flag shirt. And guy's name's Peter Jol. I don't know where he's from. He'd probably a Somalian or something here by the looks of the guy. I don't know, and he's got this strange name. But yeah, so this gal was wearing an American flag shirt, and he takes to beating the living snot out of her. Police show up. Her eyes are pounded shut. They can't even see her eyeballs, they said. Neighbors heard her. Well, again, like we were talking, where's the men at? Nobody come over there. This lady's in there screaming, and this guy's beating the hell out of her screaming. He ripped a towel rack out of the wall and stabbed her with it, tried to hide it, and however the heck he got away from the police. But, they charged him with something, but they don't have him in custody yet. But the moral of the story here, Biden says we're the militia violent extremists, okay? I've never beat anybody up for wearing their stupid Democrat shirts, which is pretty much a commie symbol as far as I'm concerned. This guy comes over here, wherever he's from, and wails on this woman for wearing an American flag shirt in the United States of America. So Joe and Democrats, the MVEs seem to be people on your side, militia violent extremists. Not the people wearing their American flags or their 1776 shirts or their ultra mega caps, But these people they claim we're doing things they're doing.
Always. That's what they always do. They claim they're actually doing the things they claim we do. And I know we've talked about this in the past on our own show here. Is like, if we were the people that the liberals think that we are and they say what we do, well, you know what? They wouldn't exist because we'd have took care of them.
Yep.
They'd be done.
If you look at the history of the mass shooters.
Yeah, the mass shooters.
Stance. They're Democrats and left-leaning.
Yeah, most of them are left-leaning Democrats with mental issues, and it's not us. They always try to portray it as that it's us. Like you said, we're the militant, violent extremists, and that's what they labeled it.
That's kind of why the Vegas shooting went under the rug, because
didn't fit the narrative.
We know the guy did it because he thought it was a bunch of right-wing country music fans there. Let's be real. Let's be real with that.
Gun owners and 1 trillion rounds of ammo. If we were the problem, y'all would know about it by now.
Yeah, if we were the problem, they wouldn't be here to complain about it because we'd have eliminated them by now. But that's not us. That ain't what we do.
Yeah, but so Tim Walz, speaking of Minnesota, the governor, assault weapon ban, man. I was in the military. I know about guns. You don't. He was out there opening up the pheasant hunting season, trying, elections coming, acting like he's all pro gun and, being a FUD pretty much.
Being a FUD.
See how pro gun I am. I'm out here shooting pheasants. It doesn't really make you pro gun, but
no.
Just to tie that in with Minnesota. And, we were talking about gun sales earlier. September, third highest month for gun sales in the history of their little background check stuff going on here. So they figure 2022 is going to end up being the third highest year.
Yep. Well, people are back out doing things. They understand what's happening right now, We saw this when Obama came into office. Gun sales leaped, and rightfully so. And I think you're going to see that. I can tell you this: if the election goes wrong here in a few weeks,
It will.
and I can tell you right now, gun sales are going to jump through the roof. They're going to regardless.
Yeah.
But people are doing the right thing. They know why they're doing it.
So Vance, you going to get the right governor down there, and is Herschel Walker going to beat Warnock, or what's going on there?
They've got my vote. I'm not a huge fan of Kemp, but he has done a pretty good job as far as if our option was Stacey Abrams,
Yeah. I mean, he looks awesome compared to her.
Carry. Yeah, compared to her, he's great. I've had a few issues with him, but he did sign constitutional carry. I feel like he held off on that long enough to make it part of his next campaign move, but he did sign it. And Herschel Walker, I'm not a big fan of his either, but I do believe that he will vote the way that we believe and what we want him to do as a representative of the people. And Warnock is far from it.
I mean, again,
he's a communist. You said it. He's a communist.
It's like Abrams and Kemp. I mean, Herschel Walker's still a mile better than Raphael Warnock is. And I don't remember the other soy boy you guys had down there in the Senate. Was he still in there? What's his deal?
He's still there, but he's a do nothing. He's not around.
Well, hopefully in November we make him do really nothing and make him irrelevant.
It's kind of like up in Pennsylvania. Everybody, they don't want to support Oz. I don't like Oz either, but I can tell you right now, if it's him or what do you call him, Jamie?
The phallus with ears.
The phallus with ears, Fetterman. If it's a choice between him and Oz, Oz is the choice. I mean, it's just that simple. I watched that debate though in Georgia. I think was that last night or night before?
Night before. When
Kemp and Gap Tooth Abrams, and then there was a libertarian on there.
Georgia Hippo.
Yeah, Georgia Hippo. But there was a libertarian on there he was giving it to both of them, and everything he said was valid. I mean, he called out Kemp about China virus and what he really did at first. And he was absolutely right. Kemp's like, oh, well, we have a good economy and we come through. He did close it down. You were there.
Yeah.
They had their masking issue, that mandate. And again, none of this stuff was law, people. I didn't follow none of it. I am proud to say I did none of it. And nor the only time was when you and I were there in the Capitol and we got ratted out by that committee chairman. His little minion beside him ratted us out not wearing a mask in the back of the room.
Well, you kind of just had like a potato gunny sack thing there. I don't even know what
it was. Actually big. It was made out of a football jersey.
Yeah, it was
pointless.
Like a joke. You put it on there, and I was like, really? Okay.
And it worked, didn't it?
It was funny. It did work. It was funny. That was a good one. I got a good kick out of that.
But that's the only time I even remote, and I wouldn't have done it then, except I had to testify on that bill.
So speaking of politicians, we got a race here in my district, in Bismarck District 35. All three seats, the two House seats and one Senate up, and a Senate candidate, Sean Cleary, I was texting with him today. He sounds like he wants to come on the show with us next week, Clay.
I think that's a good idea.
Let's get him, because he said in the debate that he had with Tracy Phony Potter, they didn't even, the Second Amendment wasn't even brought up, and he wants to talk about it because Sean got an A on the questionnaire.
Right.
Potsy the phony got a D. He got a D.
Yeah.
So I don't know which one he answered, pro gun on. Probably, you can own a double barrel or something. But
yeah, so I that's one thing I didn't look at the questionnaire this year. I'm on a county commissioner race, but they don't really get that far down into these things. So they should. I think it's probably more important than the legislature anymore. But
we should
I'm pretty sure I'd get an A+ on a questionnaire.
We should have our own questionnaire we mail out to these guys next time around.
Hey, there we go.
G&T 701 pro gun questionnaire.
Might just have to do that. That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah. I think we could come up with a pretty good one, actually.
Yeah, I think some of these guys that think they're pretty pro Second Amendment aren't going to do so good on our questionnaire.
So, hey, one thing we talked about, what we were gonna, Let's talk about this serial number deal on these guns at this.
Yeah,
What's
we'll
his name?
cover
here?
that quickly.
District Judge Joe Goodwin.
Yeah, here this was on October 12th, and I think I got some of the. Let me see. I believe I put some of these.
Yeah, I
pictures.
thought you had some audio here on it.
Well, I don't have the audio, but
Okay.
I've got the article here.
Okay.
And I'll go up here and turn this off. Yeah, remember we're a two-man show here, so
Yeah.
we're the janitor, we're the CEO, we're everything. Anyway, so here it is, guys. This comes from Amaland, but it's all over the place. October 12th, 2022, District Court for the Southern District of Virginia, Judge Joseph R. Gordon granted a motion to dismiss the charge of possession of a firearm with an obliterated serial number in violation. And I'm not going to go into that, but all gun laws are found under U.S. Code.
Well, the guy did get charged with something, though, right? In the case there, I was reading. He
he
didn't
did.
get charged with. I think he was a felon in possession of a firearm.
Right, and that had one didn't have anything to do with the other. And the reason this is important, guys, and it's right there at the end of this particular decision. This decision strikes at the heart of the ineffective and unconstitutional scheme to place government control over the possession. I cannot talk tonight. Over I'm like Biden. Over the possession of firearms in the United States.
No joke.
Yeah, no joke. And what that means, guys, is so the judge basically has come down and said that if the firearm was completed correctly, had everything in what it needed when you did the 4473 at the point of purchase when new, you can't hold anybody responsible down the line. Say 20 years later, I go to sell a gun to Vance and I've been carrying it a lot and the serial number's war and you probably can't really make it out. Well, that should not make you a felon by default or force you to hand in your gun. So this was a huge victory, guys, for what happened there.
So here's
in this ruling.
I'll read a little something else here from the story here too. District Judge Joe Goodwin found the federal law was not consistent with the United States historical tradition of firearms regulation, which was the standard established by the Supreme Court in its 6-3 New York State Rifle and Pistol versus Bruin, which thank you, President Trump, for appointing those judges.
Yes.
And anybody who thinks Trump was an anti-gun president, which I heard last week on the radio by somebody, you can KMA, because without that, you have your bump stock, but you lose it in the damn court case anyways.
Yeah, and I know what you're talking about. And Cody and I have a lot of difference on where we see things.
I like Cody, but he
too.
thinks that he makes it sound like that was like Trump was knocking on doors and taking AR-15s from people, and that's calling that guy an anti-gun president is ridiculous. Straight up ridiculous for a guy who was pretty damn smart.
And I can tell you that the judges that Trump was able to appoint, and this is important, he appointed more judges than any president in his tenure there.
Yeah, well, that's got a point there too. Just sorry, Clay, to interrupt you. Bill Clinton did appoint that judge as Joe Goodwin, which shockingly he followed the rule of the Supreme Court though in Bruin. So
absolutely, and that's where the difference is. Trust me, I didn't like Bill Clinton, but when you look at Bill Clinton and compare him to an Obama, and then compare him to Beijing Biden, I heard that. Yeah, there's no difference. Or no comparison. Essentially, Bill Clinton almost looks moderate to these two guys anymore. Bill Clinton,
he does,
was a Democrat, a liberal Democrat, but he wasn't a communist.
Right.
He might be now. I don't know.
I was going to say he is now. They got him now.
But I mean, at that point when he was president, he was just a liberal Democrat, and he still. I hate to say it, there was some sanity going on within.
He was a liberal, not a
halls.
leftist. He was a
there
liberal, not a leftist.
He wasn't a communist socialist.
Yeah, he was the last Democrat president,
in
my opinion.
Yeah. Lance K in the comments there, I like that. The talk is easier than the walk with rights. You got that right, Lance.
Absolutely. It is.
So yeah, I don't know. He made another comment there about serial numbers. I'm not sure. I'm going to start filing serial numbers off all my stuff just yet, but
but I imagine this may be appealed again. Who knows? I mean, you never know with these cases. I would love to actually see it go to the Supreme Court because right now the Supreme Court we have, I say let's take cases to the Supreme Court.
Yeah,
we're winning there, and they don't talk about it. That's why they want to pack the court.
this judge is right though. That's not consistent with. There wasn't serial numbers on guns in
No.
the Second Amendment. I mean, that has nothing to
That's
do
right.
with it. And
The
as we were
judge got it
talking about
right.
before the show, how many cases are solved by the serial number? It's not if you take your gun and shoot somebody and throw it and they get it and it's the original gun you bought. Oh, okay, what's the serial number? That's hard. That's a rarity. That doesn't.
Yeah. And we're not supposed to have a registration, remember? So the
Yeah.
serial number wouldn't do you no
Yeah,
good.
I
And how
mean, if
many
you
times
bel-
has that gun been sold or resold
Yeah.
or gifted,
Yeah.
That
um, passed on generationally? I mean, I can tell you there's a hell of a collection that my two boys are going to inherit.
yeah.
And so them serial
Get the
numbers are
Dremel
going to
out, Clay.
get the Dremel tool out.
Yeah,
Maybe on some of them. But no,
Yep.
it was another win again in the court system that isn't being talked about because it doesn't fit the
Mhm.
narrative, and
No.
they don't like this because this is where liberals go. Like what's my saying? When liberals lose, they change the rules,
Mhm.
and that we have that T-shirt has to happen.
Yes, it does.
But it's the truth. And where do they always go? They go to the courts, and what they try to do in there is stack it with liberals that are going to basically ignore the Constitution, ignore the rule of law,
Mhm.
and rule from with an ideology, and they're not winning that battle anymore. So that's got to kill them. That was their only hope.
Yeah, because they're pissed now that the judges and the Supreme Court and these district courts are ruling actually by the
Mhm.
Constitution, and they're out of control. These activist courts, they're activists for your rights. You still
Well,
can't put it through their head that abortion's a 10th Amendment issue, but
yeah. Well,
it's
that's a whole
called
nother-
abortion in 701. So I'm just making a reference there to 10th
Yeah.
Amendment. How they, I mean,
So, you know what? Some people are probably scratching their head, going, "What the?"
Oh, so speaking of that,
that
what
thing
was
they reserve to the states? That
what
crazy
was
thing.
that, Clay? I told you who's running against Katrina Christensen. Well, who's she running against again? Hoven
Oh,
and Becker, right?
yeah, yep.
So yeah, I was telling Clay, I was out driving the other day. This Democrat, Katrina Christensen, tries desperately trying to make herself so middle of the road, just like Potter and Morrison and these other scumbag leftists in District 35 are trying to do. Had a sign up on one of these electronic billboards. For period, our period, country period. Like she's some big patriot for our country. Lady, in case you haven't noticed, your party for our country, leaving our borders wide open,
Yeah.
constantly trying to stomp on our Second Amendment civil rights, First Amendment rights, free speech, is hate
Everything.
speech to these people. If you look at somebody who you think they're weird looking and you don't call them by their pronoun, you're a damn xenophobe or whatever, you're a hater. For our country, lady, your country is better off being France, not the United States of America. So don't come up here in North Dakota with your phony electronic sign saying for our country.
Well,
You're
it's like
not
I keep
anything like
saying.
people in this country.
Why don't these people who want all these things? There's countries. Take your pick. Well, you know what? I'll even pay for your plane ticket, but you can't come back. I mean, get out of our country. If you hate it here and you hate the way we have this set up, there's countries with what you want. Go to them.
You're so intolerable.
Yep. Let's see. Closed-minded, intolerant.
Wait a minute.
hard-headed,
Who was that said they want to
horrible.
knock Trump out?
That's right. Pelosi.
Yeah. Who was this Democrat who just beat the heck out of a woman in Minnesota for wearing a United States of America T-shirt? Wow, so tolerant.
So tolerant.
But we're the ones who aren't. Yeah, I'm intolerant of people who don't abide by the law of the United States of America and our Constitution and Bill of Rights. That I am guilty of being intolerant of those people.
Yes, I am. It's kind of like I always tell people, the Constitution is not up for debate. It is not a living document. Never has been. It's only been amended 27 times, and one of them has been repealed because that was the Halstead Act, which banned alcohol sale. Well, and go get a history book if you want to know the rest.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Book. What's that?
a book.
Hey,
Can't
hey,
Google-
Clay. Joe told you that no amendment is absolute, right?
Oh,
because you
none
say
of
not
them.
about the Second Amendment, how we can infringe on it.
Yeah.
So can
Oh, that's
only
how they look.
can only certain age, can only a certain type of woman vote then? How would that fly?
Oh yeah.
There you go.
19th
Yeah.
Amendment only applies to the
no,
women at that time, right?
Right.
no amendment's absolute. No
That's
amendment's
right.
absolute. So if
We
we
should
want
ask
to do,
him that.
yeah, but I bet that is. I'll bet you then you can't tell women they can't vote. Okay. Well,
Mhm.
yeah, but you can ban AR-15s and detachable magazines and
Yeah, I mean, think about that. What about all these people who are trying
Night,
to
Trav.
identify as something else? That's going to cause a problem for all them liberals.
Yeah.
One thing Gene Cox brought up here before we go tonight,
Mhm.
he's right. If the Senate goes wrong, the Senate has the power. It's a 6-year term. It originated that our state legislatures were supposed to elect senators. That's how we were set up. It was a horrible, horrible mistake when we passed the amendment to let the populace elect the senator, because the power within our federal government with our 3 branches lies in the Senate, in that legislative branch. That's why they make those appointments. They have to approve all of the appointments of a president. I mean, everything takes place in the Senate. I mean, that's where you have to have a declaration of war. They're the only ones that can ratify a treaty. That's how
Yeah.
important that body was. And again, the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court, that's where that battle takes place. And they can do it. I mean, we didn't used to have a 9-position Supreme Court.
Right.
We went to that. So I have no doubt, Gene, that if the Senate goes wrong, you could see a big battle there on packing the court, because these
Oh, yeah.
people are flipping nuts.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they're pissed.
I agree with Doug too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Doug's right. Here's what Doug said, and I can tell you right now, this election is so pivotal on so many different avenues. I can't even put it into words.
Yeah.
If things go wrong, they're going to go wrong, and they're going to go wrong bad, fast, and you will see a really bad era in our country, and it's going to get worse before it'll get better. Everybody.
I believe it is going to get worse, but that gets into a whole nother. Well,
Hell, we could go another hour on that, but
Yeah.
Gets
A one-shot cap says they don't know what the Bill of Rights are. Yeah, I mean, they do, because in their mind, it's an outdated piece of toilet paper. That's what they think it is.
I actually had a cousin of mine. Now he's in his 30s, but he was educated in Minnesota. We were referencing Minnesota through the public
Again.
government indoctrination
Yeah,
system. Told me that that the Constitution's an outdated document, so we should get rid of it. That's what he was taught in school. Of course, that conversation didn't go well for him.
As it shouldn't have.
Formed all the freedoms we have and gave us all the freedoms that we have
Yeah.
and the rights we have is outdated.
And if you haven't
to
read
this
the
day.
book Atlas Shrugged, I really recommend reading the book Atlas Shrugged. The movies are great. I've watched all 3 of them. But read the book. It's even better. And that's an old book. People don't realize that when the movies came out, the book had been around for a long time. I'm telling you guys, it's a great read. And it's almost like the book 1984, which was fictional, but it wasn't supposed
Allegedly.
to be a playbook.
Right.
Yeah, the playbook.
Allegedly.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
It wasn't supposed to be a playbook. So, well, I
All
guess,
right.
I think we got everything actually covered. We knew we were going to go a little bit long tonight,
Yep.
but we try to keep these things at an hour. And again, we want to thank everybody for listening. We definitely want to have you go over to our YouTube channel. I think if I last looked, we're at 970. We're like
Yep.
30 people short from hitting that 1,000 mark. And that's when we
Yep.
are allowed to do a lot more things and do a lot more
Yeah.
issues with that channel.
So
Go check out Jamie's new video. Him and Axe did some great they did some great work. They compared 4 different pistols, and I forget what else. You had a revolver there, and
yeah, we did.
4
Smith
semi-autos.
and Wesson governor. The governor.
Yeah, the governor. And he even had my 10 millimeter up there, and I think I made you a fan out of the 10, didn't I?
Yeah, I like that. 10 was sweet, actually.
But it's not the lung blower that the 9 millimeter.
No, nothing's like that. Nothing's as
But,
powerful as the 9 millimeter and a 223. So
I do encourage you guys to go watch that video, and that's what we got there. We've got our live stream, of course, and you can find every episode there. But we try to put things up there periodically, especially on the range, comparing guns. Just and if you got requests, that was a request that come from our friend Todd, and with his wife Carrie. And
yeah,
I thought you did a great job doing that.
thank
So,
you.
Good
Thank you.
job.
It was
Go
fun.
check it out, everybody.
I was
Subscribe
gonna
to the
say-
channel, share, hit the
Yeah.
website, www.gunsinthe701.com. And jeez.
Didn't even
Right,
hurt.
guys, yeah, I have to put that one up there so you can see what we're laughing at. There you go.
It was more like a pumpkin.
It's more like, I thought he liked to pop watermelons.
Yeah. So I was gonna say, probably heading to the farm this weekend. And if anybody's watched the video, we have my dad's new neighbor, Tanner. They're do that 750-yard gong shot with a 6.5 PRC. My buddy Rob's gonna bring up his 7mm mag, which I have witnessed him take 3 jugs out at that very same target. So I'm gonna compare that 7mm mag against that 6.5 PRC. So
Absolutely, yeah.
I think we're gonna. I'll speed it up. I got the editor on my phone. I'll speed it up. And we can make it a short, maybe. And
there you go. Put it in there short. Check out the shorts, guys. We get a lot of traffic on them, and I don't know what the rhyme or reason is to that. I mean, 10,000 hits on a snake going across a road.
Go figure. Bull snake, for that matter.
What the heck,
Yeah. So, got a good corn picking video on there, and I'll go check it out.
I got to watch it. I actually haven't seen that yet, Jamie.
Yeah, I think sweet.
But again, thanks everybody. You guys check out the website, check out the YouTube channel, go like, subscribe, share all the good stuff. Again, thanks to Doug. Are you gonna do this one? Give him one more plug.
Yeah, yep. Thanks to Doug and the boys at Lauer Auto Repair in Bismarck. That's your Second Amendment auto repair shop. Support the people who are supporting you and your beliefs. It's pivotal.
Get an appointment today, 701-258-6308. 701-258-6308.
Yep.
And they'll get you fixed up. I know I got a project for Doug.
Tell him you heard about it on Guns in the 701.
Yep. And maybe he'll give you a discount.
Yeah.
I don't know about that, but all right, guys.
Attention span with the shorts. Yeah, that's exactly that, Lance K.
You got anything?
I think that's Lance Jangula. I'm not sure, my buddy down in Linton, but I hope it is. Great. If not, if you're a different Lance, I appreciate you listening, Lance, for sure.
And I want to thank everyone for sticking with us. We went long. I watched them start falling off after about an hour, and that's normal. Yeah. I was actually shocked, as nice as it was tonight. So
yeah. Plus, we had to deal with the freaking baseball playoffs.
Oh, is that what's going on?
Nope, that ain't Lance. All right, okay, Lance K. Well, hopefully you come back next week.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, Lance.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
I mean, we had a lot of new people actually on here tonight. So
yeah, we did. Yeah, and let everybody know who doesn't watch it. We got, we're on iHeart, Apple iTunes, and Spotify.
I almost forgot to plug that.
Yeah. So get that out there.
So iHeart, Spotify, iTunes, I think.
Yep, Apple iTunes.
And there's a couple other ones I've seen it pop up. I actually seen it was trending on iHeart, so that was kind of nice to see. So
good.
All right, guys. You got anything else you want to add, Jamie?
Nope. Just next week we're gonna have. I'm pretty sure we're gonna have on Sean Cleary, District 35 Republican candidate for Senate, and per usual we're gonna have a bunch of other Second Amendment hunting and shooting news, and probably talk about some videos. Might do some pheasant hunting again this Saturday, and we'll clue you in, let you know what's going on.
And I will give a shameless plug. I'll be in Selfridge, North Dakota on Friday evening. I'm running for the Sioux County Commissioner spot against Ken Snyder. So if you want to come and meet me there, they're having their Farmers Union Cooperative annual meeting. I believe Dawson Hawley, District 31 House candidate, is also going to be there, and possibly Karen Rohr. So come and meet us. Ask us anything. You can ask me anything. You might not like the answer if I give you, but it'll be truthful. But come and visit with us, and then vote for Clay Pederson for Sioux County Commissioner coming up here on November 8th, I believe it is. So awesome. Appreciate that. And with that, I guess we're going to sign off. Thanks to Vance for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Vance. Pleasure seeing you, buddy.
Maybe enjoyed it.
Maybe you can put some more meat in the freezer tomorrow. Yeah. So, all right. With that, we'll see everybody next Wednesday, 6:00 p.m. Mountain Time, 7:00 Central Time. This is Guns in the 701. Keep your powder dry.